Hey everyone, DB here from Eat, Sleep, Cruise, and I'm so excited to be joined by my friends and fellow travelers for this official book launch of Cruising Interrupted. From author Paul C. Thornton, Cruising Interrupted is the follow-up to 2019's Joy of Cruising. This fun, upbeat book features profiles on 25 frequent cruisers. From travel influencers to bloggers like us to just everyday folks who love to cruise, Cruising Interrupted tells their stories while acknowledging the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on cruising. Still, the book is a great read for anyone who loves to cruise, regular travelers, and even those who have never been on a cruise ship. But just don't take my word for it. See what others featured in Cruising Interrupted have to say.
Hello everyone, I'm Sheri with Cruise Tips TV. Back in 2013, my family and I created a YouTube channel called Cruise Tips TV to create tips for new and seasoned cruisers, and over the years we've started to make travel films when we travel the world. One of the things that we love the most about cruising is that it gives us an opportunity to see the world. Seeing the world by ship as a family of three is just unbelievable. What I love the most about my segment in Cruising Interrupted is how Dr. Thornton really explored the emotional impact that this pandemic has had on many of us who are in the cruise industry in one way or another. But it also truly touches on the spirit, the enduring spirit of cruise travelers. When cruising resumes, what I am most excited to do is get back out there and continue to explore the world with my family. I'm also excited to maybe have a few days to a week off of washing dishes. I mean, who isn't, right? Sounds like it's going to be heaven, and we just can't wait to get back out there. Thank you so much, Dr. Thornton, for including us in your follow-up. We are so incredibly thankful. You can find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Cruise Tips TV. See you on the high seas.
I'm Gary Bembridge. My YouTube channel is called Tips for Travelers, which have actually been running since 2006 and now actually do full time. I make cruising videos with overviews, tips and advice, mostly for travelers over the age of 50 years. The thing I love most about cruising is the ability to see so much and cover so much ground in such a short space of time. As in one trip you visit multiple islands, countries or places. It's perfect for getting a feel for a country or a region. My chapter in Cruising Interrupted talks about the diversity of cruises and cruising that I've done and what I think of them, from expedition cruises in the Arctic and Antarctica to world cruises, bucket list cruises to the Baltics, Iceland, Norwegian fjords, and even river and barge cruising in Europe and the Mekong. It also talks about how I went around building my channel and the challenges the shutdown gave and how I am overcoming many of those. The thing I'm absolutely most looking forward to when cruising resumes is sea days, that feeling of exhilaration out on your balcony, out on the deck, watching the ship push through the ocean with absolutely nothing around you. I'm really looking forward to that. You can connect with me on my YouTube channel, Tips for Travelers, or go to my site, tipsfortravelers.com, spelled with 2 L's, for all my links to social media and so on.
Hi there. Traveling Judi here, Judi Cohen from Toronto, Canada. It is an honor to be included by Paul Thornton in his latest book, Cruising Interrupted, where I share my passion for small ship cruising and expedition cruises all around the world. There is nothing that I look forward to more, first of all, than reading all the stories in the book by other passionate cruisers. And I'm also looking forward to getting back out onto the water. I have 2 cruises booked right now that I'm hoping will happen. I'm feeling very positive. One is to do the Lao Mekong on a tiny Panda cruise ship. And the other is to do the Nile River on a 16-passenger vessel with Aggressor Adventures. So with that, I wish everybody good health. I hope that we all get vaccinated if that's what you want, and that we are back out very, very soon. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime at Traveling Judi on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook and on LinkedIn. and I just love to talk about traveling. I'm looking forward to adding more countries to my 90 already covered in the world. Stay well.
Hello there, we're Paul and Carole Loves to Travel. We're travel bloggers and vloggers from Gloucester in England. We blog and vlog about all different types of travel, but our first love and passion is definitely cruising.
We love cruising for many reasons, but one of them is the waking up somewhere new every day and only having to unpack once is a real bonus.
It is. I don't even like unpacking at all, so that is a bonus. You only have to do it once. I mean, other things we love about cruising, fantastic entertainment. You get the opportunity to try foods that you might not have ever tried before. And like I said, and just being spoilt makes you just feel special all the time.
It does, certainly does. Our chapter in the book tells the story of when I first started working as a nurse for Celebrity Cruises many years ago, and me talking Paul into taking his first cruise, which actually took 7 years.
The first cruise didn't take 7 years. It took her 7 years to actually persuade me. But
True.
I knew within hours of getting on that ship that this was something that I was going to absolutely love and continue to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And so far we've done 20 cruises and we've got so many more planned.
Yes, indeed.
One of the things that I'm most looking forward to when cruising resumes is just to be out at sea and just the space, the peace. I think for me, cruising, just the stresses just melt away and I just love being at sea.
You love walking round the promenade.
I do.
And especially on the back of the ship, looking at those aft wake views.
Those are my real happy places. So we've been Paul and Carole Love to Travel. I hope you enjoy our chapter in the book, and you can find us on our website, which is paulandcarolelovetotravel.com. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and we've started a bit of TikTok.
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Oh yes, how do I forget YouTube, our favourite. So so come and find us there.
Hi there, my name's Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com and the YouTube channel Life Well Cruised. I'm really thrilled to be included in the book Cruising Interrupted. And Paul, congratulations on the book launch and an absolutely amazing book full of cruise stories that are really inspiring, especially after this time that's really been so difficult for all of us, but especially on the cruise industry. Now, sometimes people ask me why I really love cruising. Now, I really do love traveling, but the fact that on a cruise, you can have all of those travel experiences combined with all of the great things about ship life, it just makes it absolutely perfect. So from the entertainment that's included, the amazing food, whether it's fine dining or casual food, the fact that we can go really to any venue and entertainment and we don't really have to think about how to get home because we just have to walk over to our cabin. It just is an amazing experience, and it really is the only vacation that I've ever gone on that truly felt like a vacation, especially when my kids were young and we brought them with us as well. A cruise is absolutely parent heaven. Now, in my feature in the book, some of the things that you'll hear about is how we started to cruise. And that was actually our first cruise, was a cruise that almost didn't happen. It was a cruise that was highly affected by a hurricane. And despite that, well, we absolutely got hooked on the amazing customer service that we had by Royal Caribbean and the amazing cruise experience that we had. As well, you'll find out how I started my blog and where that dream and that passion came from. And really, it had been a decade in the making. One of the very best decisions that I ever made was actually starting my blog in 2018. I think like everybody, I am really looking forward to getting back to cruising again. And most of all, I think at the very beginning, I just want to get on a cruise ship. I can't wait to have an embarkation day. I love embarkation day. And to have sail away and to really be able to wake up in the morning and see the ocean, and in the evening to be able to see sunsets at sea. That really is probably my favorite part of a cruise. As much as the bells and whistles and entertainment is amazing and the service is great, just being by the ocean really is my absolute favorite part. I also want to see the crew. I know this has been a really hard time, and I just want to see the crew again and other cruisers, because I know that, you know, sometimes we took for granted all of the great things that we had in life, and I know I will never take cruising and traveling for granted again. Now you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook at Lifewell Cruise, and as well, you can check out my YouTube channel. I would absolutely love to connect with you there at Lifewell Cruise. And thank you again, Paul, for including me in this amazing book, and big congratulations.
Hi, we're Don and Heidi, the husband and wife team behind EatSleepCruise.com, affectionately known as DB and the Princess. Our love for cruising began after our first cruise back in 2007. Since then, we've spent over 180 days at sea on more than 30 cruises with various cruise brands.
When it comes to cruising, there's so much to love about this type of travel. I think we both can agree that our primary love for cruising is the ability to visit multiple destinations all in one trip. For me specifically, being the chronic overpacker that I am, it's great to be able to pack and unpack only once during the trip. I also do love getting dressed up for formal nights and all of the thrills found on modern day cruise ships.
I would say I love the food and entertainment on cruise ships. From Broadway shows to live music, there's never a dull moment. And given that she is a picky eater, I do get to enjoy trying new foods that I would not be able to sample back at home. Now, when it comes to our feature in Cruising Interrupted, you'll learn more about our cruising journey, as well as when we were stuck on a cruise ship when the cruising world came to a crashing halt. Luckily, our trip back in March of 2020 remained upbeat, the only issue being delayed a couple days.
While the pause in cruise operations is way longer than we ever would have imagined, we can't wait to get back on board a cruise ship once again. We're looking forward to testing out all of the brand new ships debuting in 2021 and hopefully planning a cruise to someplace new and exciting for my milestone birthday later this year.
While we have started to venture off beyond the Caribbean in recent years, we can't wait to see the world one port at a time. If you're planning a cruise, make sure to check out our website and our YouTube channel for the latest cruise news, reviews, port guides, and planning advice. You can also find us all over social media at Eat Sleep Cruise. And we want to say a special thank you to Paul for including us in Cruising Interrupted and featuring us alongside all these amazing travelers.
Hi, I'm Laura from Cruise Lifestyle, and I just want to start off by saying congratulations, Paul, on publishing your second book. I really enjoyed your first one, The Joy of Cruising, which had so many different stories about why people choose to cruise, and I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of Cruising Interrupted. I first met Paul during a Twitter chat called Cruise Hour, which I host every Tuesday. And Cruise Hour has been wonderful during the pandemic because it's kept us all going. It's a great place for people who love to cruise to come and have a chat about experiences and stories, any recommendations that people have. And it's just a fun hour of the week on a Tuesday where we can all talk about cruising. I really miss cruising and I can't wait to get back on a ship when it's safe, order my first cocktail and just take it all in. I particularly like going to different destinations. I like to plan lots of different shore excursions to make the most of my time in port and also check out the different foods that are local to those places. If you are into cruising, destinations and local food, I would recommend you checking out my website cruiselifestyle.co.uk, and you can find me on social media channels at Cruise Lifestyle. And also, don't forget, you are all welcome to join me at Cruise Hour every Tuesday. All you have to do is search for #Cruise Hour and you can join in the conversation.
Hi, I'm Heidi Sarna. I'm co-founder of quirkycruise.com along with my partner Ted Skull. We are both longtime travel writers and we have a passion for small ships. So we started quirkycruise.com about 5 years ago. We both have traveled a lot as travel writers and just travel enthusiasts. I'm based in Singapore right now. Ted is in New York. And the website is full of great articles and reviews and tips and news from us and from a group of travel writers. So I think what we love about cruising, both of us, especially the small ships, but any size, is traveling by water. Of course, seeing cities and towns and rural places from the water is a very unique perspective. I think there's also just the sounds of the waves against the hull and the breeze and the certain things, the ship's horn, you know, certain things that only come with cruising. Our perspective and our point of view for Paul's book is obviously talking a lot about our small ship experience and also how Ted and I, how our careers started. Mine started because I was working for a small travel magazine. I had never taken a cruise, and who knows if I would have in my life, but suddenly I was taking cruises for a magazine job. And I grew, you know, to really enjoy them, and my career took off as a freelancer, and I have my website, and I do lots of freelancing. Ted also does lectures on ships, and he's been many places, and has written many books, too, about travel and cruising. So that's what Ted and I talk about in Paul's book. And I'd say, what am I looking forward to when we can resume cruising? There's some stuff I wanted to do in Southeast Asia where I'm living that got curtailed because of COVID. Laos, I'd love to go in the Mekong as it goes through Laos and China. I've done it in Vietnam and Cambodia, so I would love to do that. I'd love to do the Douro River in Portugal. That was on my list. That got curtailed. And even some stuff in the U.S. I haven't done a Mississippi River cruise. So, the list is always long. Even though we've been many places, there's many places we haven't been. So please check out croakycruise.com. We cover over 90 small ship cruise lines with ships and boats under 300 passengers. And we keep adding more lines whenever we discover an interesting one. And please follow us on our social, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Croaky Cruise. And finally, I just want to thank Paul for including us in his book. We really look forward to reading it. We're thrilled to have been asked and to be in the company of all the other cool people that he's found and interviewed.
Hi, my name's Jenni Fielding, founder of the family cruise blog cruisemummy.co.uk. Now, one of the things that I most love about cruising is how it's just the easiest way to travel with young kids. It's just so convenient, especially if you can avoid flying. And it's also really great value for money as long as you know how to find the best family kids prices and the best deals. Now, I realised that not everyone loves cruising, and it's because they don't realise those things. They don't realise how fantastic it is for kids, and they don't necessarily realise how great value for money it can be either. So that is my mission, really, is to spread the word about how great cruising can be for families. So in the book Cruising Interrupted, I talk about how I first fell in love with cruising. And I took the first ever cruise I went on was on our honeymoon in 2013. And I just knew that cruising was for us. So much so that as soon as we got home, we went and booked another one for 6 months later. After that second cruise, I knew that I needed to cruise more. So I went hunting for a job in the cruise industry and was very, very lucky to get one, working for a local cruise travel agent in my town, where I worked for 5 years before becoming a full-time cruise blogger with all my experience. One of the things that I'm most looking forward to when cruising resumes is just simple things like being able to go swimming with the kids. My little boy's 3 and he's not been swimming for a year now because of the pandemic. He doesn't even remember what it's like. So I know that when he goes on a cruise ship and there's an amazing swimming pool there with some kids' water slides and a splash area, it's just gonna blow his mind. So yeah, just things like that. The kids are just going to love it. And obviously as a parent, if they're happy, you're happy, aren't we? So you can find me over on Instagram. It's at cruisemummy, spelled M-U-M-M-Y, because of course I'm from the UK. So yeah, get in touch over there. And if you want some tips about cruising, just send me a message and I'll always reply.
Hello, cruisers. This is Kandes Bregman, Sea of Glamour. My husband and I are very enthusiastic Holland America Line cruisers, and we've traveled by ship to many exotic and faraway places, and you can too. Today I want to tell you about a new book called Cruising Interrupted, and it's available now on Amazon. You can read about our adventures near and far and what happens when a hurricane tries to ruin your plans. We love cruising, and we've had 6 cruises canceled, so we can't wait to get back on a ship. I want to tell you about my next cruise. It's going to be the 21-day premier voyage on Holland America Line's newest Pinnacle class ship, Rotterdam. The ship will be leaving from Trieste, Italy on August 1, 2021. I'm looking forward to this European cruise and visiting some of my favorite ports in Italy, Greece, and Spain, and the final ports of Rotterdam and Amsterdam. In the meantime, follow me on Instagram, Sea of Glamour.
Hello. First of all, let me thank the contributors to Cruising Interrupted for participating in this event, and a special shout out to Heidi and Don of Eat, Sleep, and Cruise for taking a lead in putting this event together. Who would have thought that a decision I made about a cruise several Christmases ago would lead to this day? On Christmas morning of 2017, my wife and I decided to surprise my grandchildren and my daughters by flying up from Florida to Delaware and knocking on their door. You should have seen their face when they opened the door. It was like a Hallmark tearjerker. And the joy my wife and I felt was indescribable. I immediately said, we have to replicate this moment. And by the end of that night, we had decided to take the family on a grand Christmas cruise the following Christmas. So I immediately scoured all of the Facebook cruise groups and cruise critic forums and YouTube to research cruises. And what I found was that the stories of people like you, in fact, between the two books, over 50 people from around the world of all ages were just as interesting as the cruise, researching the cruise itself. And I decided I wanted to share those stories to other passionate cruisers, as well as to people who aspire to take their first cruise, or just people who appreciate human interest storytelling. And so I set out to tell that story, and I am so thankful that you all agreed to allow me to share your stories. Now, not everyone agreed. I've had my share of doors slammed in my face, digitally speaking. And who can blame them? I was just an anonymous voice on the internet, wanting to delve into something they love and share it publicly. Eventually, though, many agreed to be profiled in the book. Some were well known, some were Googleable, some had a degree of fame, a Poker Hall of Famer, a Grammy winner, a couple of TV stars, but mostly ordinary cruisers with extraordinary stories. You all stuck with me, enabling me to pursue my passion of storytelling and pursue my other passion of cruising, but vicariously through interesting cruisers like you who will forget more about cruising than I will ever experience. You also allowed me to realize great joy. Writing the books was a blast, and so it was an easy decision to decide to write Cruising Interrupted. But then COVID-19 cast a pall over the cruising community, presented a crisis for the cruising industry, and took away my joy for writing about cruising. But I didn't lose my passion for cruising, so I continued to go to the Facebook groups and to the blogs and to your YouTube channels and so on. And your indomitable spirits, your "we will cruise again" attitude, eventually lifted my spirits, and I decided to restart writing. Of course, I had to be mindful of the hundreds of thousands of souls and their families who lost their lives to COVID, and particularly the many hundreds who lost their lives to COVID beginning with a cruise or while on a cruise ship. And the book is dedicated to them. Let me finish by reiterating how appreciative I am for each of you for being a part of my journey. I don't know if you've thought about this, but by being in the book, we are forever linked, long beyond your final cruise. And for that, I will forever consider you a part of my life. Cruising Interrupted and The Joy of Cruising are both available in ebook and paperback on Amazon. And of course, you can get them at my site, cruisinginterrupted.com. And also, you can contact me at any time through my site. And I would love to hear from all of you. Thank you very much. Happy cruising.